The next couple of episodes, Mama, Star, and Ready, Aim, Fire, are mostly set up for the big end-of-season conflict, so I'm going to review them together. Obviously, you guys can read the title of the episode and see the title card up there. I don't know why I told you that. Mama Star starts out with the group picking up immediately where the previous episode left off, trying to get the attention of the mill horse that Star created, the firstborn, I guess is what it's called, in the hopes that it can lead them through the magic dimension safely back to Muni. Star calling it her child, saying that she's its mama, so it has to do it, she says, which I don't think is an attitude that she's ever shown before, but it was still pretty cute and entertaining and did actually lead into some stuff throughout the rest of the episode, so I'll let it slide that seems to come out of nowhere. And Butterfly Sparkles does seem to agree on at least some level, and so agrees to pull them in Oscar's old car through the magic. They are trying to take precautions to keep their memories from being erased, I guess. And I would assume that not being directly in contact with the water would have accomplished that, but it turns out it doesn't. They do start losing their memories anyway. And it's really adorable. When Star and Marco lose their memories, they get like all googly-eyed at each other because they're obviously attracted to each other. It leads to a lot of cute scenes. The most important of which is Marco, memory-washed Marco, confessing to Star that he loves her and saying a lot of other really embarrassing stuff. It was a really cute scene. I wasn't sure if the characters were going to remember it after the fact, if it was just for us, or if it actually was going to have an impact on them. But it was a really cute scene. I thought it dragged on a little longer than it needed to, but it was cute. We do learn, though, when the characters get out of the car and start wandering around, because of course they do, that the dark magic water is still floating around. It even seems like it's overtaking the good magic water, the light magic water, which I have a little theory about that. Spoiler alert for episodes that I haven't reviewed yet. Star thinks that the solution to all of this is going to have to be to destroy magic, kind of like what Toffee was trying to do when he was doing his Toffee stuff. The title of the finale, Cleaved, seemingly meaning that she intends to cleave all the dimensions apart by destroying magic and severing the thing which connects them together. But I think I was actually right back when I theorized that the two types of magic were going to have to blend together. I think she's actually going to end up cleaving the two different kinds of magic together into something new and fixing things that way. Could be wrong, could be very, very wrong. I think it's still a cool thing to think about. And it would make me right, which, as you guys know, I always enjoy. Anyway, moving on. As the threat of the dark magic water becomes more and more urgent, Butterfly Sparkles decides she can't risk taking them further herself. In fact, she's struggling. Things becoming quite dire for her. It even seems like she might be overtaken by it and changed by it herself. So she does end up using the magic to send them to where they need to be, just like she did to Star and Moon. And I gotta say, I barely know the character that I've been calling Butterfly Sparkles, but I really hope she survives. This episode did a good job of endearing her to me, and things seemed pretty gosh dang dire for her when we left her behind. That said, though, sending everyone off to Muni magically like this does lead directly into the next episode. Star, Marco, and Jennah, but not Tom for some reason, he's been booted out of the story, I guess, all wake up in different locations. Star wakes up in Doop Doop's shed, sees explosions off in the area of Monster Castle, so she heads that way, bumps into her mom in the yurt village on the way there, and tries to get Moon to come along with her to help with whatever crisis is going on. But Moon refuses, saying she has to stay and protect the yurt villagers, so Star goes off on her own. Jennah wakes up at Monster Castle, and we actually see from her perspective an armored warrior marching up to the town. An armored warrior who we are supposed to assume at this point is Mina, in full giant mech armor with a giant Solarian sword. And this is an attack that we knew was coming because of a previous scene that I have chosen to skip at this point because it's kind of the most shocking of the bunch. I'll talk about that in a second, but we do get a fight scene here between Globgor and this giant thing, but then it cuts his arm, but it doesn't actually cut it. It scars it with like a curse mark kind of thing. Like, it's even lightning bolt shaped. It made me think of a curse mark from Harry Potter or something, which causes him great pain, has weakened him, and it causes him even more pain whenever he tries to use his powers, particularly his growth power, and it keeps him from doing so. He has now been kicked from this fight very early on, which means that it's now up to Eclipsa to step up and try to fight the Solarian warrior herself, but her magic hardly does anything about it. She actually is put on the defensive pretty early on, and it's actually her trying to defend herself from this thing using a magic barrier that ends off the episode. But I mentioned that scene we have to talk about. Marco wakes up in the laundry room back in Butterfly Castle, and it's as he's leaving that he overhears Mina in a giant suit of armor with a big-ass Solarian sword talking to the Magic High Commission. It turns out that while, yes, Romulus jumped the gun a little bit freeing Globgor when he did, like it's implied later on that it was part of the plan somehow for him to do that, but I don't think they confirmed that it was. It doesn't really make sense for it to be anyway. But the entire High Commission has been behind Mina this entire time in regards to trying to dethrone Eclipsa. This scene, I didn't expect it. Like, I thought maybe Romulus. Because, you know, he showed himself to be kind of a dick when he freed Globgor. And he does have an actual tangible reason to distrust Eclipsa. She did forcibly take control of his body. I didn't expect this kind of behavior from the others. Especially not Hekapu. Like, I know she's kind of bigoted, just like the other two are. But I thought at the very least she wouldn't act on it. At least not to this degree. And there is still another big reveal. I will say a big twist reveal that I'm not going to spoil, because I haven't talked about it in a review yet, that sort of explains why the entire High Commission would be on board with this. And I do think it's possible that, at the very least, Hekapu might turn back around and redeem herself in the end. And I bet there are even some people who saw this coming, but it shocked the hell out of me. Overall, there's not really much more to say about these two episodes. As I mentioned before, they're just build-up, they're just set-up. But, with a couple of minor exceptions, they are very well done build-up and set-up. I did mention that I thought the stuff in Mama Star dragged on a bit, and I stand by that. I do think the entire episode probably could have been summed up in half the time, but I mean, you can't really do that with this style of storytelling. Yeah, you need to fill the full 12 minutes. I get that, but I do think it did drag a little bit. It was entertaining, like there was entertaining stuff in there, but I do think it dragged more than it could have, if that makes sense. But man, Ready, Aim, Fire was just excellent. An excellent episode showing us different perspectives of all the crap leading up to this big final confrontation in really fantastic ways. Like the direction of the episode, the story direction was just fantastic. Everything builds in a very satisfactory kind of way. Star showing up and seeing the explosions in the distance and flying off alone, like that's tense enough. But then seeing the High Commission with Mina, and then seeing what the sword did to Globgor, who we have seen as this really uber powerful force, it cascaded. It got so much worse so quickly, but in such an elegant and perfectly paced kind of way. As per usual, though, I'd like to know, what do you guys think of Mama Star and Ready, Aim, Fire? If you have seen them, let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over my Discord, link in the description. But either way, This has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.